What is ISO 9001? ISO 9001 is a quality management system specification. Quality management system being the policies and procedures and systems and processes in your organisation that are all about managing your customers' expectations and managing the processes that you go through to serve your customers. ISO 9001 training is all about taking the opportunity to learn about what's in ISO 9001 and find out how it's relevant to your role and your responsibilities in your organisation. And doing some training is a great opportunity to find out what the efficient parts are for you to learn and what's in it for you, what great benefits are there for you when you learn about this standard and get the opportunity to participate in implementing a quality management system in your organisation. Why is ISO 9001 certification important? Well, that's a great question. External recognition of your quality management system by an external organisation is a great way to prove that you have systems and processes in place. Many customers and business analysts in the marketplace are quite skeptical of how companies and organisations operate. So having external ISO 9001 certification of your organisation by a third-party independent person who comes in and has a look at your organisation, gives you guidance and advice on how to improve or tips and tricks on how to improve is great. But more importantly, you can promote to your stakeholders, your customers, your regulators, people in your marketplace, that an independent person has come into your organisation and does so regularly. That's your proof, independent proof that you've got a great system in place that meets the intent of ISO 9001. So external certification is important because it's all about external third-party people providing an independent approval or an independent verification of what you're doing. How long does ISO 9001 certification last for? If the ISO 9001 certification is part of the International Accreditation Forum or IAF accredited environment, so if you see the IAF logo on the bottom of an ISO 9001 certificate, your certification will last from the day it was started for a period of 3 years. So most likely it's a 3-year cycle, and the certification lasts for 3 years. Inside that 3-year period, you will be visited by your external certification provider on either a 3, 6, 9 or 12 monthly basis. So it really depends on the agreement with your certification provider, but the certification will last for 3 years, and that 3 years will be punctuated by what's called surveillance assessments, where they will come and see that you're continuing to maintain your management system. How much does it cost to get ISO 9001 certified? How long is a piece of string? Its cost for ISO 9001 certification is variable, and it's dependent on the size of your organisation and the industry that your organisation operates within. It's very difficult for me to talk to you on this video about the cost to get certified, but what I can say is that the size of your organisation and the industry your organisation is in determines the length of time that an ISO 9001 audit or assessment will take, and then the organisation that you're asking for a price from, which could be Best Practice, they will apply their costs and charges and rates to calculate a proposal or a quotation for you. So reach out to Best Practice Certification at www.bestpracticecertification.com.au and click the live chat function, and someone here manning the live chat facility at Best Practice can answer your question about how much it costs to get ISO 9001 certification. What are the requirements of ISO 9001? Now, capturing a copy of ISO 9001 and having a look through, you'll see there's different sections to the standard. And the fun sections, 8 and 9 and 10 are the improvement parts of the standard. But what are the requirements of ISO 9001? They are to plan, do, check, and act. So plan, do, check, and act. Have a management process laid out that's going to constantly improve how you deliver your products and services to your customers. Constantly improve your customer service. So that's the requirement. The requirement is to think about how you're going to deliver your products and services, and then have a system of self-evaluation and review, plan, do, check, act, to support how you go further. If you want to know more detail about the very specific requirements of ISO 9001, follow the link in the description below on this video across to our training academy, where you can do the ISO 9001 Essentials training course. What does ISO 9001 mean for your employees? ISO 9001 for employees is all about having defined and captured and planned processes for the roles that they're responsible for in the organisation. It's about defining who needs to do things, what do they need to do, when do they need to do it, where do they need to do it, and how they need to do it. That doesn't necessarily mean lots of policies and procedures, but for employees, it gives them structure, it gives them guidance, and it gives them an environment in which they can have some metrics, KPIs, performance indicators, performance tracking of the outputs of what they're doing. So it gives them structure, it gives them organisation, it gives them guidance, and it gives them hope. So in organisations that are growing very quickly or organisations that are starting to become a little bit older, ISO 9001 gives employees stable terminals for consistency and processes to follow. Now, if those processes are wrong, of course they can be improved, but it gives them guidance and organisation so that they can feel confident in the roles they need to implement. What does it mean to get ISO 9001 certified? Well, something we do here at Best Practice is we verify that an organisation has followed the intent of the standard and is implementing a system that complies with the standard. So we'll look at ISO 9001 2015 and we'll look at your organisation and we'll make a comparison. And if we can see that the way you manage things is structured to follow the intent of 9001, and we can see that you're using that system, so you've designed a way and planned a way that you want to operate, and you're using that system, then we can come in, our team from Best Practice can come in and verify you. Now, we can also do that virtually. If you are somebody who would like some assistance either via Skype or Google Hangouts, we can do that virtually. So what does that mean? That means that you've got a management system that complies with ISO 9001, you've been externally certified, and you can promote to your stakeholders externally in the environment that you have ISO 9001 certification. What is the difference between ISO 9000 and ISO 9001? ISO 9000 is a great document for terms and definitions and descriptions, and ISO 9001 is a specification document or a standard document. So in any ISO standard, when you see the 001, so ISO 14001 or ISO 45001, the 1 means specification, or it's a checklist if you like. So you can follow the standard, you can read clauses, and you can see the mandatory requirements that are part of building out the management system to comply with that document. So the difference is ISO 9000 is terms and definitions, and ISO 9001 is a specification.